Chasity has always been fearless, ever since she was a little girl. Her family isn't sure where she got that attitude from, but she was never afraid to bend or even break the rules to get what she wanted. There was a time when she was a little girl, only old enough to ride her bike. She wanted a corn dog from the store that was a couple of miles away. Her older sister wouldn't take her in the car, so she hopped on her bicycle and pedaled up a long road and then onto the highway. She got her corn dog. Oh, but when her parents found out, they were enraged. The thing is, Chasity didn't care. She said it was worth it. She literally put her life in danger, all for a corn dog.
Anyway, Chasity was always mischievous. She would get under the bed and hide from me, hide from them other sisters of hers or whatever, and they would have to look for her. Anyway, I was at work one day and they called me, couldn't find Chasity. Where is Chasity? Anyway, so I told Kitty, get on the car. We had an extra car. Get on the car, go look for her. So she got on the car and she rode up and down the road. We live out in the country on these long old roads and stuff. She done got on that bicycle before they noticed she was missing.
When I got home, they told me she had been up to the store on that bicycle on that highway to get her a corn dog. So when I got home, I got her corn dog. I gave her one of them good old-fashioned grandma whooping, but she said it was worth it, so it wasn't worth it that much because she didn't go back and get another one.
Growing up in a rural town, Chasity has always had dreams of being more than just a girl from Webb, Alabama. She liked the spotlight, the attention, but she absolutely positively loved the Lord. Chasity learned to play the piano at a young age. She used that talent to play during Sunday services at a couple of churches, including the one she grew up in, Sardis Missionary Baptist Church in Headland, Alabama. It was a talent she treasured and was happy to share with others. She even taught piano to kids. Playing the piano was another way she worshiped God. And it was the relationship with God that started when she was a young girl that would help her during the most trying and difficult time of her life. Chasity was the third of four daughters born on May 5th, 1981 to Betty and Lander Barnes. She and her baby sister Candace were always close because she and Candace were just under 2 years apart. They got to experience school together and even share some friends. Chasity was definitely the boss of Candace. Her older sister Amanda, also named Kitty, often seemed more like another mother figure in her life. She would call her for advice on boys, school, and even jobs. And there were a lot of those conversations, especially about her career, because Chasity always aimed to do more and be more.
So one day I got home from work and I saw Chastity's car in my yard, which was unusual because I lived 2 hours away and I got off. I worked an overnight shift, so I got off early in the morning. So I go see her get out of the car, we walk to the front door and she just falls onto my chair and she's just crying. I'm like, what is wrong with you? And she was so upset because she wanted to take another job, but she was afraid of what my parents would say, because it was a really good job at the local Sony plant in town. And but she wanted more. She didn't want to do that. She didn't want to be stuck at a plant. she had her degree and she wanted to go into marketing. I said, go for it. Don't you can't let anybody hold you back. You go for that job. And I know she was glad she did because she got it.
Regina, her second oldest sister, was more of the fun sister. Another person not afraid to break the rules, but she did have her limits.
Okay, so me and Chasity were coming from Dothan, and Mama and Daddy had bought me a little car. It was a little Forenza or something like that. I can't remember what the name of the car was, but we had put it on cruise control when we were coming out 231. So when we got in Dothan, no, we were coming off of 52. We couldn't get the car to stop, and we kept mashing the brakes and everything, and the car wouldn't stop. So we pulled in here coming wide open. The accelerator had got stuck on the car. And so we pulled in here wide open. She went ahead and jumped. Well, she kept saying, jump out the car. And I said, I'm not jumping out the car. So anyway, she went ahead and jumped out the car. And I say an angel pushed me out the car because I was too scared to jump out the car. And the car went right on into the woods, and it was still running. Come to find out, the accelerator had got stuck in the car, and we didn't know what to do other than we kept trying to press the brakes, and even though we had the brakes pressed all the way to the floor, the car was still running and wouldn't stop.
Confident and courageous. That was Chasity. But she'd also quickly tell you that she is blessed, highly favored, and was going to blow up. She used that phrase a lot to describe her life's plan. She graduated from high school, received a scholarship to Troy University, obtained her bachelor's degree in public relations and journalism in 2002, and she received her master's degree in business administration from Troy University, Dothan in 2007. She was well on her way. She was about to quote-unquote blow up.
Yeah, she always talked about how she was going to blow up. Just about everything she did, when she put her mind to doing it, she went at it full force. She started playing the piano at 8 years old, and when she put her hand to it, she just went straight ahead on and did whatever. And she called me one day. She moved out. We didn't know she was moving out after she what was it? College? She had finished college, I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah. Then she was moving out on her own, Miss Groney. So but anyway, after she moved out in a couple apartments or whatever, then she decided to buy her a house. So she called me one day and said she's a homeowner at the age of 22. And I know all this because I say it was all in God's will that all this happened. Everything she started out to do, she did. I tell everybody, she was my go-getter girl. I always was my go-getter. And couldn't nobody do nothing with her out of them sisters. Nobody but my oldest daughter, Kitty. She was the only one because Gina just let her run over her. And Candace I don't know, that was just, Candace is the baby, she was just there. But Chasity was always the boss. And my husband, Landa here, she would give him a run for his money. She called him Big Red. And I remember before she passed away, maybe it was a month or two, he wasn't strict on him, but he would tell them different things and stuff. And she told him, she said, I'm gonna get you, Big Red, one of these days. I'm gonna try you. And she used to tell him that all the time. And had her friends calling him Big Red.
After she graduated college, Chasity got a job she wanted so badly at the Southeast Alabama Medical Center in their marketing department. She even bought a house not too far from her new job. She loved the position and the people that she worked with, and it made her family proud. She enjoyed participating in the health fairs, television interviews, and other community events organized by that department. In 2007, she took her mom and sister Amanda to a hospital-sponsored event, and boy, did it pay off big time.
So one day, my mom and my daughters and Chasity, we were at this health fair that they were having at this church. She worked at a hospital in the marketing department, and the hospital was having this health fair. And so we, walked around and looked at all the tables, and we were actually getting ready to leave. And somebody handed us some door prize tickets. And so we took them, but we were leaving. So we went back to my mom's house. But later on, they were having like a concert. One of the Clark sisters was performing. And so, we were sitting at my mom's house. And so we decided to go back. And I'm glad we did. So they were drawing for prizes. And one of the prizes was two tickets to the BET Awards. And so they called the number. And I look at my ticket and it's my number. But I hear somebody else scream. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I didn't. What is going on? And Chasity hit me. And she was like, that's your ticket. You won. Go get the tickets. And so I jumped up like I was on The Price is Right and just went on down to the front to claim those tickets. And going to that award show was one of the most fun times that Chasity and I have ever spent together. The celebrities, the tours of Hollywood, it was just great. I was so happy to have been able to spend that type of time with her.
Fun, free-spirited, yet bold and focused. Again, that was Chasity, living every moment as if it were her last. Chasity was also led by the Holy Spirit. She loved God with all her heart. She attended church, Bible studies, retreats, you name it. She wanted to be in the presence of the Lord. Her desire was to serve Him because she knew He would give her the desires of her heart. Now, Regina had moved to Atlanta and started her family when one day Chasity came for a visit. Her visits were nothing new. Atlanta was where the fun and job interviews were. But it was one visit that stood out to Regina.
Yeah, the first time I knew she was sick was she had came to our house in Atlanta because Alana had a softball tournament, and she came up there to see her. And then when she got to the house, she couldn't even walk up the stairs, and I was like, it wasn't even like her. So William had to take all her bags and everything upstairs, and so she came to the little ball game, but she sat in the car the whole time because she was so weak. And I saw her, and then she was huffing and puffing, and I kept saying, why are you huffing and puffing like that? And she was like, well, I don't know what's wrong with me and what's wrong with my breathing. But when she was at our house, the doctor's office had called her and told her she was anemic and she needed to take more iron and stuff. So anyway, but I remember that later on, like that night, she took me and Alana and William and Zach out to eat to Golden Corral, and that was strange for her to offer to pay for it. But anyway, she was like, oh, I'm gonna pay for y'all food, but she didn't eat anything. And I said, well, why you ain't eat nothing? She was like, well, I just don't have an appetite no more. I can't eat no more like that or whatever. So I guess the springtime, like us being out at the ball game and all that kind of stuff, that's what the springtime reminds me of her and everything that started going on, because that's the first time I really knew she was sick, is when she got to the house and she couldn't hardly breathe or get up the stairs, and she had all these bruises, all over her.
Candace, who spent so much time with Chasity, has furniture, artwork, and even clothing that belong to Chasity. They obviously share similar taste.
Chasity not being here has left an impact on all of us. And it's a big hole that'll never be filled. There are many things that she left behind, the memories. She inspired me to do so much. And it just feels good to have a piece of her with me.
Although young, smart, successful, and beautiful, it seems Chasity was striking out when it came to love. She held herself to a higher standard and didn't want to compromise her morals and values. She wanted to be a wife and a mother. She felt God would send her the right guy when He was ready. And he did. He brought her Frank. He would be there until the end.
I remember being parked, and she's like, "So I have a boyfriend." I was like, "Okay." His name is Frank, and I was like, "So what does Frank do?" And she's like, "He's a football player." I'm like, "Okay, a football player, that's good." I could tell that she really, really liked Frank. Frank was a keeper. I have no doubt that she would have married him and they would have lived happily ever after with their family of kids. I remember when she was in the hospital the night before she died, she even said, "Don't let them mess with my stomach." And because I want to have kids. I said, we got you. They're not going to mess with your stomach. We'll make sure of that. And that's how I know that she really, really had a desire to have a family.
Now, Chasity didn't have children of her own, but she had 3 nieces and a baby nephew that would always keep her busy. The nieces were young when she passed, but still hold their auntie close to their heart.
I remember one time we had a sleepover at her house, and I just remember her making us some macaroni and cheese and all that. And I remember one time I was sitting on her couch, and her I think it was a lab. Her lab just had ran right through my legs or something. That's when I used to be scared of dogs. That's just something that
when she made us take that nap in the water room, I remember I was so mad because when we got there.
One of Chastity's missions in life was to blow up. In other words, be extremely successful. She saw an opportunity for a promotion and was chosen to be the marketing director for Medical Center Barber. But later, an even better opportunity presented itself. She had the chance to serve her university as a community college relationships coordinator. So she moved back to Troy. She was there until the inevitable happened.
She called me. She had been in Birmingham giving a presentation. She worked for Troy University at the time, and she was giving a presentation at a community college there. And she called me and she said, "Girl, I had to sit down in the middle of my presentation because I was giving out of breath." And I was like, "Girl, you need to go to the doctor." I was like, "As soon as you get back home, you need to go to the emergency room because something's not right. You need to get checked out."
We got to the emergency room and we sat there and we actually waited for a really long time. And she was in a lot of pain and they were really busy in the ER that night. It was late when we got called back in the back 4 room, and the nurse came in and did the initial assessment, and then the doctor came in to see her, and she was talking to her, she was looking at her, and she couldn't find anything wrong with her. Just looking at her, it looked like nothing was wrong. So they did blood work, and in the meantime, the doctor basically told her, "Hey, well, I don't see anything wrong, so we'll send you home and we'll call you and set up a stress test." At that point in time, I knew that she felt really bad because she was like, "They can't send me home. Something's wrong." And she knew that something was going on. Something didn't feel right. And later on, once her blood work came back, her nurse came in and he told her, he said, "Hey, I do see that something's going on." And he started asking some medical history questions, and nothing kind of made sense to us with the questions that he was asking. But he did tell her, "You have a reason to feel the way you do." After that, they decided to admit her, and she was admitted into the hospital.
It was a big deal. Chasity had previously been misdiagnosed several times by doctors she'd seen when she wasn't feeling well. She was told everything from she had asthma to anemia. Now that she was at the hospital, it would be one more week until she got the official diagnosis: adenocarcinoma of unknown origin. At age 27, Chasity found out she had cancer.
Whew. When Chasity found out that she had cancer, when I found out she had cancer, I called her, and by the time I was working at another newsroom, and I walked outside the building and talked to her, and she was just as calm. And I'm thinking, if this had been me, I'd probably be hysterical, but she was just as calm as she can be. And I was like, what's going on? I said, and I even told her, I said, you're just so calm. And she's like, what do you want me to do? She said, how am I supposed to act? I was like, well, yeah, good point. I guess it is. You just need to be calm. And that was her attitude through the whole ordeal. And when I say whole ordeal, this lasted all of like 2 weeks. Her getting sick and passing away like that, all of 2 weeks. Our lives got turned upside down.
So that Sunday, almost a week after the official diagnosis, Amanda headed to UAB's Kirkland Clinic to join her mom, who was with Chasity. Regina and her family had taken her there and returned to Atlanta. Her father, who had been with her also, had returned home with Candace, who was still living in Webb, Alabama at the time.
But that Sunday, she seemed to take a turn for the worse or whatever. But anyway, my daughter Amanda came, and all Chasity wanted to do, she wanted to hear the word of God. So she sat there and she read all day those scriptures. And when we was taking her to Birmingham, I read the Bible that whole day. I mean, all the way to Birmingham and stuff, because we love the word of God. But she we love to sing, and we were singing this song, lay your hands on me, Jesus, I don't mind. And then Alana is my granddaughter, and Zachary is my grandson. We was in the room singing, and we had sung about everybody, on the preacher, on the deacon, on everybody. And then Alana said, she said, Granny, well, you didn't say lay your hands on Chasity. So anyway, when she said that, we all grabbed Chastity's hand and we started singing, lay your hands on Chasity, I don't mind, I don't mind, I don't mind, I don't mind. But we just had a glorious day in that room that Sunday.
As the night went on, things started to change for the worse. What seemed like all of a sudden, Chasity was in a lot of pain. The pain medicine was making her sick. And to make matters even worse, doctors discovered a blood clot. She hadn't even had a chance to start chemo in order to fight the cancer.
So Chastity's in Birmingham at the hospital in for the fight of her life. But she told me she wasn't worried. Everybody always knew Chasity was a soldier. She loved God with all of her heart, all of her being. She loved God. And she even told me, she said, I'm not worried about me, and I'm not worried about my soul. She did say that she was worried about my daddy and my sister Gina, but she said that she's not worried about her soul. And I know now that I look back, she had to have known what was about to happen. But at the same time, I know that she was holding on to, some kind of, she was holding on to her faith, because she just deep down inside knew that God was going to work out a miracle for her. But unfortunately, that didn't happen.
But that wasn't to be. She had done her job on earth. And on March 30th, 2009, 1 week after getting the cancer diagnosis, Chasity passed away. The shock of her sudden death radiated throughout the entire family, from her young nieces to her grandmothers to everyone in between.
Very well. So I remember my dad, he was on the phone with my mom, and then I heard him say, oh dang, she didn't make it. And that's when I found out. And this was like, I don't know how long this was before they had sat us down and told us, but I had already knew.
Yeah, we were in the room
Yeah, I
down there,
remember.
and everybody was here, and they they sat us down.
down
Was I
in the
there?
room.
Yeah, they sat us down in the room, and y'all were talking to us, and y'all told us.
Yeah. I don't remember how that show
I don't
went.
yeah, I don't
I just remember us going to the room.
Yeah, I just remember I was really sad at the funeral. And
I didn't even cry. I was trying to like cry.
Yeah,
Tears.
no, I remember I was crying.
I didn't
a lot.
But Chastity's light could not be dimmed. Would not be dimmed.
Seeing my sister laying in that hospital bed, she's 27 years old. I said to myself then, I didn't say it to her out loud because I didn't want to dampen her spirits at all. But, you know, I made a promise then that if anything happened to her, that I wasn't going to let anybody forget about her. You know, 27 years on this earth, I felt was not enough time. And she had too much living to do. And she wanted to blow up. So I was just going to make sure that people knew her name and that they never forgot about her.
So in May, just weeks after her passing, the family awarded its first scholarship to a high school student. In 2012, they started the Chasity Barnes Memorial Scholarship Awards Dinner to recognize the student in front of his or her parents and share more information about Chasity and her life.
But the biggest blow up of all, I say, is now. People talk about her still, how great a person she was and all the things that she accomplished in her short 27 years. And I mean, we didn't know how she was going to blow up, but she did. And this scholarship thing that we do every year, it just keep getting, I mean, it's been 10 years now, and it keep getting bigger and bigger. And nobody forget Chastity.
Chasity Barnes, Skylar Boone. Good evening, everyone. Okay, as they said, my name is Skylar. And first, I'd like to start by saying thank you to the family who selected me and that sees the spirit of chastity in me. It means a lot to me because my mom actually knew her. And so this is a great honor, and receiving this award lets me know that Jeremiah 29:11, where the Lord says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans for hope and plans for a future," are actually true. Thank you.
Then, in 2018, Amanda created Chastity's Champions, a nonprofit organization that provides educational resources and scholarships to students who share similar beliefs, dreams, and aspirations. Education is how Chasity knew she could blow up in the world. Being a servant of Christ and doing God's will on earth is how she knew she could get into heaven. She accomplished both through her family, friends, organization supporters, scholarship recipients, and even complete strangers touched by her story. Her memory will forever live on, and there is no way her light will ever be dimmed. Not by a blood clot, of course, not even by cancer. With each scholarship that is awarded, there is another person that carries her ambition and love.
You gave your life.